I want you to have a think about the last time that you bought something special. How long was it before the novelty of it wore off? Now have a think about the last time you made something special. How long before the novelty of that wore off? I bet you it's still special. Afternoon, everyone. My name's Leila Haddad. I'm 11 and I like to make things. Most of my friends don't make things because they don't know how, and they've never really been shown. So their parents make their lunch, their clothes are bought by their parents, even their entertainment is done for them on their iPads. My parents, or my mum, has never really made things for me because I guess she doesn't know how. Come to think of it, she hasn't made dinner in a while. But I guess it has kind of taught me how to be self-reliant and independent. And surprisingly, I haven't starved. So what are the things that we need in making? Well, we have our raw materials, where they are literally the building blocks for what we're creating or making. And they also hold the potential of the final product. But don't forget that quality in them is important. The next thing is caring. You can ruin things really easily by being careless. Sometimes good and nearly there isn't good enough. The last thing is kind of creating a story. The making doesn't stop once you've completed the object. The story can go on forever about what happens to it and who holds it or uses it. Sometimes the stories are even more important than how it was made. I want to share with you 3 examples of making. So the first one is about making pasta. So to make some pasta, you need some really good ingredients. So you can get some fresh eggs from your chickens, some fine flour, some herbs and tomatoes from your garden, and maybe a bit of butter. And you mix the eggs and the flour into a lump. Not much to do with a lump. So you knead it until it's a silky smooth ball. And you roll it out until it's really thin, and you cut it until it's a thin ribbon of pasta. You boil it in salty water and drain it. And finally, you cook the butter and the herbs and the tomatoes in with the pasta, and voila, your bowl of pasta. The care that's gone into it is important. Otherwise, you won't get a silky smooth pasta or a perfectly seasoned sauce. And collecting from your garden is really important to start with. The stories around the dinner table that night are really important as well. There are lots of funny things said to give you some fun memories of the night. The next example is about my passion, which is knife making, not sword making. Some of the raw materials are just as important in knife making. You can find the piece of wood for the handle on a holiday, or someone might give you a special piece to say thank you. Sometimes a piece of wood is kept for years, waiting for the right knife to come along. You might even find someone who has a deer farm and gets some mantle off them. You need a good hard steel for the blade, otherwise the knife doesn't work. You take lots of care with your work so there are no scratches and no dips for rust to get in, and sometimes this can take hours. You sweat over your work as you forge out the blade. Sometimes you have to forge in the middle of summer, where down here is 37 and up here is 45. You can spend hours going up the grits in sandpaper, 180, 320, 600, 800, 1000, and so on, until you get a mirror polish. The knives that I make are designed to last more than 100 years. So a father can pass the knife down to his child, and they can pass it down to their children. And it can go on for generations, if the knife is made well and it's looked after. Think of how many hands have touched a knife, young and old. Think of how many Sunday roasts it's carved up. Think of how many fingers it is sliced, accidentally. Sometimes a knife is more than a tool. It's the stories that it holds in its blade and handle. It's those stories which make a knife. Lastly, I want to talk to you about creating a community. Look at the raw materials in the room. Look at how many talented people are here today. We need to embrace and utilize the skills and life experiences that are here. You guys are the farm fresh eggs. What would the recipe be for you? How do we combine you? But don't worry, we're not going to whisk you. When you're working in a team, you want people who share your passion and enthusiasm about what you like to do. But they also have to bring differing ideas and talents. Gatherings like these are really important for combining and creating more communities. You meet new people and make new friends. From listening to all the speeches, hopefully you've learned more and got inspired. So what is the story that we're making here today? How do we not just consume this event? What do we do to make it more? Well, we can share our knowledge that we've gained. We can work together and collaborate with other businesses that we've met today. And we can forge the friendships that have been forged, we can continue. Think about what you've learnt today and how you're going to use it. I learnt that Santa Claus is real. And he's standing in the room. One of the things that I'll do when I go home is to show other people how to do things at my dad's forge. At the moment, we don't run classes for young people, and that I want to change by introducing kids to blacksmithing in the summer holidays. Once they learn how to do that, hopefully, with the confidence that they have gained, they can try and make other things. Making things is really important for us to be human. It's what has allowed us to evolve from the monkeys. I'd like you to go away from here today thinking about what ingredients that you use, the skill and care that you take with your work, what the story that you're making, and how you can introduce someone else to making. Thank you, and thank you to Ben for the opportunity to come here today.
11 years old.
Holy moly. If you would like to follow in the footsteps of people such as the chefs from Rockpool in Sydney and our friends from Attica right here and go and learn how to make a knife yourself with the Haddad family, check out Tharwa Valley Forge. It's in the ACT just south of Canberra.